Let's just be 100% real with each other. The whole Kyoshiro and Komurasaki scene when he slices her down, that was fake as hell. Like, it was super freaking fake. Because let's just look at the main message of what, Kyoshiro was trying to do and what Komurasaki's been doing and all the build-up and furies behind her now since the last chapter and this chapter. See, Kyoshiro as a individual, he's someone that's very close to the Shogun. He's worked up to this very point to where he's at right now in his position. And he's someone that obviously wants to be on the good side of Orochi. He wants to be right next to him to where, Orochi's always basically like, hey, I need you. I'm relying on you. He wants to be in that type of position. He always wants Orochi to think that he's honorable and always going to follow him and do whatever he says. And in this case, in that moment, what he did to Komurasaki, it was a way to show that he is very loyal to the Shogun. And even though Orochi himself did not want to put Komurasaki down, you can see multiple times in this episode, that he wanted to end her, but because of his love and him wanting to be with her, he did not do the final blow. But according to the rules, the law of the land is that basically it has to be done. They have to be punished because then people would rise up against the Shogun and he wouldn't really have much respect. So it makes sense why Kyoshiro would do that, because even if Orochi's kind of slightly against it, Orochi would understand law is law. And so Kyoshiro did that to show his loyalty and everything alongside of that. And as we know for a fact that the way that scene looked, it was fake. Komurasaki is most likely Momo's sister, younger sister. And so finding out that, what happened this chapter, she might be dead, I really do not believe that whatsoever. Because, let's just go on the limb here and say, yes, it's Momo's sister. There's no way she would die like this. After so many years, 20 plus years of not really ever knowing if her brother is still alive or what really ever happened to the samurai, there's no way Oda would allow her to sit around for 20 plus years, introduce her character, giving all the hints in the last chapter, and with just killing her off this chapter. There's just no way. And Kyoshiro, too, there's a couple of scenes in, this chapter that shows that he is definitely playing a long con. I mean, when he slices her down, he's like, are you ready? And she's like, yes, which, like I said, seems very staged. And then, once that scene's done, and it seems like he's very loyal to the Shogun, he looks at, the tattoo, like the marking, that's what Kinemon was giving out to people to find out who is on their side or not. So, it's very apparent that Kyoshiro might be a samurai that was a part of Oden's crew and will stand up and fight the Shogun one day. That is a very likely possibility. It would make a lot of sense to why Kyoshiro would be watching over Komurasaki as well. Let's think about that. For a fact from the last chapter, you had to work, Kyoshiro, he's like, women are, like, not objects. You need to be delicate with them. That's kind of what he was saying when the Shogun was talking about, Komurasaki. And the way the entire scene is, it looks like he's trying to defend Komurasaki, her honor, and everything like that. And him, actually kind of being responsible for her in some ways, it proves that he might have been watching over her. For instance, he might know the truth, that she could potentially be the princess, and she could be Momo's younger sister, heir to the throne in some ways. And so he's been protecting her identity. So instead of something really happening and her potentially really dying, he probably put her down in that moment just to be able to free her from some torment that could happen if things would have carried on with, Orochi. So I think she's alive. I think Kyoshiro, like I said, is a good dude. It just, he has his own reasons for it, and he's just been going out of his way protecting the princess as long as he can. And at the same time, he's still remaining close to the Shogun because he has an objective to maybe one day get rid of the Shogun and be able to rise up, and he's hoping that maybe Kinemon and all them might come back or something. Who really knows? But okay, with that out of the way, let's talk about the scene with Big Mom. So it's confirmed officially that Big Mom has truly lost her memories. I mean, she got knocked in the head, and we know that she didn't know where she was in the last chapter, but it's officially confirmed that it's just not going to come back like that. She has no memories of what happened in the past. So there is a lot of potential that Big Mom could actually serve to be an ally of the Straw Hat crew for this arc against Kaido. Now, I already know what people are saying. They're very upset that Big Mom could be, kind of lower the scale of the fight. For instance, Big Mom is so powerful, she's a Yonko, that her fighting Kaido just seems very unbalanced. I understand where that's coming from, but once again, as I said in my last chapter review, Big Mom is a character, she's a very intriguing character. I mean, what really separates her from the other Yonko that really drags her down is the fact that her hunger pains really just make her go crazy. She's not able to really maintain control of herself, and she just starts obliterating her own country. And so, like I said, if Chopper actually figures out the reasons to why she's acting like she is, he's able to analyze her medically and all that, I think that Big Mom might be able to overcome that problem within her mind, or the hunger pains, whatever it may be, and could get, you know, a different direction for her with her life, and she might be a little bit more of a better person. Who really knows? Because like I said, Big Mom is a person that never grew up. She never had a family to really teach her what was right and wrong, and she was manipulated into what she is now. So I do hope that the way Oda is taking this, if, you know, Big Mom really does carry over to help out the Straw Hats, is that this shows that Lin Lin, as an individual, she can change. This is mainly for her character development. I mean, she's been someone that's constantly had problems mentally. She's, you know, forgotten what happened to her family. She doesn't know what happened to her family. I mean, she was abandoned at a young age. I mean, when you think about everything, she's had a really rough life. And I really can't just help but feel bad for her. I really feel bad for Big Mom. As much as many want to throw her underneath the bus and say she's a monster, a poor character, whatever, I cannot say that. Big Mom is a scary character. Because, once again, as I've said in my previous reviews, is that, imagine this. With how dysfunctional Big Mom and her entire crew was in the last arc, it was still very scary for the Straw Hats to be able to get out. I mean, there was a lot of sacrifices in that arc just for them to be able to get out. So many people had to die, basically, just to get them out of there. So, in the grand scheme of things, if Big Mom truly had her mind and she wasn't, you know, constantly plagued by her hunger pains, she probably would be one of the most scary Yonkos a part of, you know, the Emperors. Like, I think she could potentially be. She's just a really crazy strong character. I just don't think she's able to use her full potential because of how she is. But okay, anyways, her personality is very, very much like how she was as a child. Like, I do want to point that out. If you notice her dialogue with Chopper and all that when she's eating food, she's like, oh, you know, it wasn't enough to fill me, but I'm still hungry, but I do appreciate because there's not really much more to go on, or go around. That's what Big Mom was saying, and it's very different from what she was in the last arc, and it's very reminiscent of her childlike self when she was learning modesty, learning how to share, or learning that, you know, there's not enough food for everyone, and so she needs to understand she can't eat too much. You know, Big Mom usually understands this. Even if she's hungry, she's able to stop herself, but that's when the hunger pains happen, and we know what happens after that. But we see a very, very similar childlike Lin Lin from Whole Cake Island. And once again, since Chopper is around and there's a good, you know, amount of people around her that's actually good, I feel like she could change. And when she does eventually gain back her memories, if she doesn't forget everything right now, I do feel like she might, you know, have these memories incorporated into her personality, and she will forever be changed, or at the very least in debt to Chopper for what he has probably done for her, or will do for her if this arc continues. But yeah, I like that. I do want to point out something, though, that Zeus doesn't seem to be, like, you know, having amnesia. It seems like he actually does still remember, because in the scene where Nami pulls him out of the rod, Zeus seems to be very conscious, everything seems to be normal, which is very interesting, because if you look at Napoleon in this chapter, he's completely asleep on Big Mom's head. So, either he's just taking a nap, or, you know, he is, like, you know, once again, since he's linked to Big Mom and he was with her, he forgot everything and he's very different, or he's just out of commission for the time being, but Zeus seems to be relatively normal. So, we do know that Zeus is definitely operating away from Big Mom, even if, you know, he is from her own soul, he is definitely, in some ways, a little bit disconnected. And so, I do wonder how that's going to happen. Maybe Zeus might be the one to remind Big Mom who she is, and, you know, wake up Napoleon, and, you know, help her out. Who really knows? But Zeus popped up in this chapter, which that's what I want to get into. Nami. I'm really glad my girl had quite a spotlight in this chapter, because Nami's just been really important, honestly, since Whole Cake Island. Like, she's been extremely important. I mean, she was always a character in the Straw Hat Crew before the time skip that was relatively kind of weak, or just on the same realm or tier as Usopp before he really started manning up and getting strong. You know, she was always one of the weaker members of the crew, and seeing her be able to do what she's doing in this chapter, for instance, fighting back against the ninjas, or helping out, you know, Rob and all that, and striking down Orochi, it's very impressive, and it just shows that Nami isn't a character just, be a comedy gag or just run away and be a coward. She does have her own strength now, which makes a lot of sense, because, I mean, this is supposed to be the Pirate King's crew, so they should be able to hold their own and do anything they possibly can to bring down opponents. So seeing her use Zeus like that, strike him down, I'm very impressed. I'm glad that Nami is showing that she is not a weakling whatsoever, because, I mean, even though many might try to say, okay, but listen, Chibi, you know, she's using Zeus, which is aka, you know, a Yonko. Yes, I understand that, but at the same time, she was the one that was able to tame Zeus and use him for her power. So, in the grand scheme of things, I just think Nami is doing a fantastic job, and I'm just glad to see what she did. I want more of this, Oda. Please give me more Nami in this, you know, arc, and see her, you know, shine. Because, I mean, in the last, you know, arc, Whole Cake Island, she also shined, you know, helping out Jinbei on the ship against Big Mom, to also helping out Luffy in critical times too, and he was fighting the entire army in the rain. I think Nami has been just super important, and I just love all the spotlight she has been getting. So, what else is there to really get into? I guess one big thing would probably be the Robin stuff, and kind of what she's having to do to get out now. The whole situation with her, it's chaotic, because it's now full-on war at the capital. For instance, where the Shogun lives, and this is before, like, I think 9 or 8 days left remaining before they actually attack Kaido. So, I mean, they're attacking way too early, and they're getting their faces' identity out there. They're not going to be able to, you know, really remain undercover anymore. It's going to put the Shogun and Kaido all on guard. So, in the grand scheme of things, this is not good for the future plan. And I think Oda's really being fast-paced with this arc. Like, I don't know how many have really noticed that, but this arc is really fast-paced. I mean, yes, we have 8 to 9 days until the attack begins, but it's really quick compared to previous arcs, and I do wonder what Oda has planned, because it seems like the more and more I see of this arc, the more this arc seems to be more based on, like, shocking events. Like, it's just kind of like a precursor to what is to come for a future arc. I don't know, I just got that feeling that there's something big that's going to happen in this arc that's going to be very relevant for maybe the arc after this. That's just my feeling I have. But I think that's about it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy my content, you know, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below. And with that, I love you guys. Chibi out.